Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Fire 716 Radio. Today we're going to discuss relationships and situationships. So we're going to continue from Big Frank in the morning. And they had a great topic this morning. And we just want to continue. So I was just sharing with them that, I was married and was divorced, and so I lived apart from him for like 6 months or so, and we tried and it didn't work. So uh we stayed together for like 5 extra years, and then things happened where he had children with a young lady, and so I knew I wasn't going back and everything. So we made a decision to divorce. And so on my way here, um I was driving up High Park and I saw him, but I didn't know it was him. And so once I looked, we waved to each other, and that's how it's supposed to be. If you can't make it work with someone, you don't have to have them be an enemy or what have you. You guys can stay neutral, and you don't got to be friends, but you don't hold anything against somebody because it didn't work. So that's just how God works in my life. It so happened I'm coming here on the show, and then I spot someone that I was in a relationship with, and it's just the love of God that's in me. I could never show hatred towards anyone, because that's not how God intended our lives to be. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. But that was something. On the way here talking about T.Q.I.AM, and here we are.
Yes.
Like, hey. And I have another story, but do you ever hold grudges with exes or anything like that?
So when I was younger, I held a lot of grudges. I was a grudge holder, like I'm gonna hold this grudge to the day I die type of person. But I realized how much that slows your progress. And not just that, but like internally
It hurts you.
it hurts you. Yeah. I still have some things I'm working through now. But as far as my exes, no, I've gotten over it. The most that for me, for as far as when it came to exes and relationships, was you wasted my time. That was always the thing. That's like, I spent this amount of years trying to make something work with you, and you didn't even take the time out to work back with me. And it's like, I could have been doing a million other things. I could be further along had I not been focused on you. But then it's like the reality of it, is that really their problem that I focus on them, or is that my problem? So kind of just letting that go and not holding those grudges. But that's pretty much what it was. And I feel like sometimes have a little PTSD from situations.
The sooner you let it go and heal from it, the sooner your body and your mind and your spirit to get back right. That's why I say, like, if something's not working, if I done went to the person and tried to have several conversations about um the behavior, and you choose to ignore it, is nothing else left for me to do but make arrangements to start healing myself.
Right.
So the longer you stay in something and you know it's not going to work, the longer it's going to take for you to heal from it. And I'm a no nonsense person. So once I say it a few times, I care about a person's feelings, but I care about mine more.
Right.
And I'll have to just pack up, or the person has to, whatever. It's done.
Yeah.
And you don't supposed to leave people like stuck, but that's your fault if you stuck, because I tried to work it out and talk to you, and you don't want to change. So why should I have to deal with your behavior?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
No, it's definitely interesting though, because I feel like now that I'm older, it's more like I done built a friendship with this person. Not even so much like relationship, but just like you became a part of my world. So like, if we aren't gonna work out on all these things, it's like now I have this small gap in my life that's like, dang, it sucks that it didn't work out, and now what am I gonna do? Um, and even for that person is like,
Yeah.
we you're so involved
You
in
built
each
that
other's lives.
friendship.
Yeah.
Well, you can't cross boundaries because that'll be a whole nother mess. Yeah, that'll be a whole nother mess. And I realized when I have like a relationship or whatever, they we leave with respect.
Mm,
That person has respect, and I have respect for the person, even though they try to play their little games or
right.
whatever. But people don't know when you have Christ in the center of your life, it's nothing you could say or do that's gonna have you to be like, oh well, let me be this fool and act like God ain't showing me this. No,
Mm,
God is your all. You pay attention to the signs, and God will lead you and guide you to all truths.
yeah.
And they fail to realize that I have that connection, and they'll be like, "Why? How you know that? How this? How that?" I keep telling you, if you don't want to be honest, then it's not gonna work because
Right.
God ain't gonna let me sit there and be subject to foolishness.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and that is so crazy that you say that, because I would tell people that I was dating all the time, like, listen, if you do not tell me the truth, I will find out.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather you just tell
Tell the
me.
truth.
Like, just tell me whatever the situation is, even if I'm going to be devastated or hurt. I would rather you tell me than to lie and me
Mm-hmm.
find out another way,
Mm-hmm.
because that's going to make the situation worse. And I always get those gut feelings. Like, and every time I've had a gut feeling,
It's true.
I have a gut feeling, I have a dream,
Mm-hmm.
like it'll be all these different things. And then you
Oh, I
find out
could
that it's
tell
true.
you about a situation during my marriage. I confronted the two people, and then during my prayer time, uh, God spoke to me. And at the time that He spoke to me, the person lived over us
Mm,
because it was a two family.
yeah.
And as soon as I finished, he spoke to me, and I hear the person going in the room. You hear him taking the shoes out the box, and they hitting the top of the floor, and I'm like laying there. And then God gave me the scripture about the woman of Zion walking with a stretched forth neck with twinkling feet,
Mm,
who's walking, seeing who she can not devour, but I know where the scripture is, and it was saying with the twinkling feet. And if I tell you, the person was wearing heels all over Niagara Falls. So if I lived over someone, naturally, my thought is take my shoes off at the door so you don't bother the neighbors.
right.
But no, this was a thing where
You could.
all the time.
Mm,
And so when the scripture came to me, it said about walking with the stretched forth neck and wanting eyes with the twinkling of her feet, the woman of Zion. And it said, showing the secret parts. Right then and there, that told me everything that I spoke about
mm,
was really happening.
mm.
I was like, wow. But that's why I say people don't know how in tune you are with the Lord,
Yeah.
because He will show you.
Oh
And
yes.
I'm
Yeah.
like, hold up, wait a minute. And then from that point on, I stopped sharing. I stopped trying. It ain't nothing in the world you could tell me that you're not doing, because God's showing me you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if you feel like that person is more important to still stay in our property, then okay, I'm out. What else is it for me to do? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, God, the thing is, God is just so amazing and infinite
Mm-hmm.
in his own power,
Mm-hmm.
that we fail to realize sometimes that we may feel some type of way about a situation, but he don't want us in a situation for a whole other different reason. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you may think, oh well, he don't want me with this person because whatever it could be. And
Yeah.
then it could be literally something that you didn't even think about that actually is affecting you worse, and that's
Mm-hmm.
going to affect you down the line. God,
Yeah,
he
we
just
talked
knows.
about that in Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm,
where you supposed to probably uh plant the seed
mm,
and somebody else is supposed to water the
Mm-hmm.
seed. And so to me in different situations or whatever I've experienced,
mm.
I said, wow, I was probably supposed to be the waterer. But because of my heart, it's like, okay. Like, really, girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
She's
it was like,
okay.
really? Mm. But yeah, you
Yeah,
live and you learn, and I'm of a certain age and I'm still learning. So yeah.
man.
And
Really?
I love to talk with the young ladies because they deal with a lot of the stuff that I done been through,
Mm,
and I'm trying to save them, but they don't want to be saved. They
no.
have to find out for themselves, and then they come to me later and be like, oh
Oh,
yeah, this, that, and I'd be like, well, I was trying to tell you, yes, my sons, but I'm a woman first. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And they don't like that. Oh, you my mother. And if you're wrong, you're wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's, I love that you said that, because some parents, some mothers are not like
Hold
that.
them up in their wrong.
Yeah,
Not
they,
I.
oh well,
That's why they
yeah.
probably act the way they act towards me, but I don't care because I raised them. They didn't raise me.
Right.
And if mother speaks, mother speaks.
Mhm.
Yeah, and no, I'm a woman first, and I'm not going to let somebody treat me any old kind of way, and I don't expect them to treat people any old kind of way, cuz
Right.
that's not how I raised them. And they men now. They will take care of their kids and work and all of that,
Mm.
but the woman thing, it's like I have 14 grands.
Yeah.
So I know you must know it's not just one
Mm-hmm.
female. It's like I have several different, and I'm like, okay, what's this situation now?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that,
yeah.
I feel like that's got to be so hard to,
Mm,
I think about like my mom, and just you talking about it is like, it's got to be hard to raise a boy to be a man,
mm-hmm,
and to have that respect and not go out and do that stuff.
mm-hmm,
Cuz it's like nowadays, my generation of people dating, forget about it,
mm-hmm.
cuz everybody's just, they
I used to sit them down, and say, look, if you don't want to deal with the woman or what have you, give her a chance to move on, and then you move on. They didn't even hear none of that I said. They
didn't
didn't
hear
hear
nothing.
none of it. I was like, are you serious right now? And then because when they come to drop the babies off or the kids off,
Mm,
they know they got to be cordial because I'm only about, respect for each other.
right.
And so we done sat at the same tables, shared Christmas, Thanksgiving, the holidays. So
Mm,
they know it ain't none of that around me.
right.
Somebody want to pull the weave or the this or that. We not doing that.
Yeah.
You got to be respectful to each other. And plus the kids are siblings and they have to know how to get along. So yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing.
That's got to be a lot to help manage and deal with. Like, you obviously want the best for your kids, and you
Mm-hmm.
want the best for your grandkids, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that being able to provide a space where, maybe the situation wasn't right, but now y'all in it, and
Mm-hmm.
this is how things are going to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful to me, because
Yeah.
not a lot of people are like that. The only other person that really showed me that was my dad. Like, my dad, my situation with my mom, and him not knowing that I was his daughter, and the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. We ain't got enough time for that.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad, like, he had to take some time because he was hurt, and like, I'm his only kid. I'll only be his only kid,
Mm-hmm.
and but after that he like forgave my mom, and like they have this beautiful relationship. There's
Mhm.
nothing like sexual or nothing like,
Mhm. Just
relations. They're
friends.
really just friends.
Yeah.
And when she isn't doing right, or when she's not feeling good or anything like that, he really tries to help and take care of her. And that opened my eyes up to like, wow, okay, like he forgave her for this and he's
Mhm.
still being there. And even when me and him talk, and I go on my rants about my mom, love her to death, but we are oil and water sometimes.
Mhm.
um he corrects me, and he lets me know, like, I understand you're feeling this way, but you know it's more to it.
Yes.
So I think that's a beautiful thing that you're able to have them in one space and do
Mhm.
these different things for
Mhm.
the kids, and the kids get to see, like, they don't have to grow up in an environment where it's
Exactly.
turmoil and fighting and all that stuff, that they have an
Exactly.
opportunity to see how things should be properly. So
And I'm gonna Nisi Carter is having the Hatitude tea party,
mm,
and so that's on June 16th, and we need people to come out and support, and purchase the tickets, and you can reach her on DM her on Messenger, or go to Facebook and check it out, and purchase some tickets. We got some
yeah.
good things to talk about,
What's a
and to share.
attitude? What is a attitude party? Like, you come in a church hat, or you come in just any
Well,
hat, or
whatever hat you like,
ooh,
whatever hat you like, and just have some food and sit down, and we're gonna tell some of our stories about relationships, been through the fire and came out cold,
oh wow,
and so yeah, and I have been through some stuff.
some
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah. So I'm ready to tell my story, and yeah, it's gonna be good.
yeah, that
Yes,
sounds like
and I'm
it.
having a small event for the kids, so we could show them that we love them and we care for them,
Aw,
because they're running around like a herd of elephants, because you could be coming down Center Avenue, and you're the car, you would think they would stop
yeah,
and wait for the car to go by. No, you gotta stop and wait for them to go by. I'm like, is these kids serious? I'm
yeah.
like, is they serious? And yeah, it's like about 15 of them, and they are boys,
Mm,
you know. And I have compassion for boys.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
man.
yes, do you have anything to add, sir?
Um, no. It's only no because my mind is just
Okay.
occupied with
Okay.
these text relationship that I'm in right now
Yeah.
with
Yes.
the one I love.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
I think as it pertains to relationship and to holding grudges, then you have to just learn from them and take the
Mhm.
lessons from them, and you have to use wisdom
Mhm.
going forward. That forgiveness is a principal thing to let go. It's not always easy
Mhm.
all the time, but not holding on or harboring those things, because you can take that into the next situation, and you can create an environment
Mhm.
that isn't. I'm not trying to cheat. I'm not cheating, but because you've been cheated on, you now have a space for cheating, and now you
Mhm.
you have assumptions. Well, no, I was just at the store and the
Yeah.
machine broke down. I was just waiting for the machine to get fixed.
Right.
But because you was gone for a minute, so you want to make sure that healing is taking place. One thing we talked about this morning is that healing process is important. So when you're
Mhm.
talking about relationships and getting into those relationships, just make sure you're healed. And I'm not saying that's gonna be perfectly. Oh, I'm 100%
Yeah.
ready to go.
That
But
that was my situation a couple times, where the person was straight up honest, but because of what's my mindset
yeah,
was, I held on to stuff, and it wasn't right. But hey, it was a part of healing, and there's nothing wrong with counseling.
mm-mm,
Nothing,
Mm.
nothing.
not at
And
all.
right now, I'm trying to set somebody up with some counseling, and it's nobody I'm in a relationship with
Mm-hmm.
or trying to talk to, just people, just trying to help people. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nothing wrong with counseling.
And counseling is
Even
smart,
marital counseling,
valid.
even though you married, is something, somebody, a middle person can always help, and two people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you always need that third, somebody so you can see what's right and what's wrong,
Mm.
because you're not going to see it coming from him, or she's not going to see it coming from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, counseling, that's
Yeah,
the
for sure.
number one thing. Yes.
And that was one of the things this morning we was talking about, that one of my exes wanted to do counseling. He wanted to go to therapy, like as a couple and stuff like that, and I just wasn't ready for that,
Well,
because I was like, I didn't see a future with him, so I'm just like, there's no point,
yeah,
in going to counseling. I'm not gonna waste your time, and plus I wasn't sure if we go to counseling, are you taking this serious?
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one person to be serious about it, and the other person just think it's like, nobody don't need to tell me what I need to do. Oh, yes, they do,
Yeah.
because you don't get it. I'm always the one that's willing to, let's go to counseling, because it's gonna prove you wrong.
Right.
So no, you don't want to go.
You don't.
So guess what? I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. See you when I see you.
Right.
Yeah, that's how that works. You don't want to go? See you when I see you.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
And I just feel like one of the things, like seeing green flags in people, because we talk about red flags all the
Green.
time.
Okay.
Like you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we talk about red flags all the time, like even on social media. Like, we're always talking about red flags. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. But what are
Mhm.
green flags? Like, what are things that you see in people that you're like supposed to hold on to? Like, okay, this is the person I should be talking to, but
The
nobody
green
really
flag
talks with
is
it.
go. Just go.
Just good.
Mhm. All right.
Yeah.
Hair almost up.
No,
Yeah,
looks
we
like-
had a good time today. So
Yeah.
yeah. And oh, these babies, they need us. They really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need us. That bothers me. So it's like, and you try to get and I'm not down in church and things of that nature.
Yeah,
No,
they're not telling
but
us.
seriously, it's like you want to do routine and go home. No, we need to take time out and be counselors to these kids, because they need it.
Yeah.
It's like it's something bubbling up in them. They don't know what to do with it. That's probably the Christ in them that's not being shaped and molded. They need us to pull them aside and talk to them about Christ, because that's why they acting out. And you know what I noticed when mine was younger? They used to sneak a Grand Theft Auto in here and there. And I was like, give it here. Give it here. They'll give it to me. That's so and so's. I don't care. Tell their parent to come and get it.
Yeah.
So I could tell them about the Grand Theft Auto. And that's why I believe all this shooting and killings and all this stuff is because they was doing it on the games.
Yeah.
Now it's they up in age, they get their hands on something. What they doing? They're not talking, they're not fist fighting, they shooting.
Yeah.
And I believe it's because of those games that they
So-
used to play. Mine couldn't play them.
I will say this, Felicia,
You
because
used to play 'em?
I'm an active video game player,
Serious?
very deeply. However,
You're mature with it then.
I will say this. I agree with you, actually. At first, when I used to hear about it, people would say like, oh, the video games and the movies, it's promoting the violence. It's the music is promoting the violence. It's causing people to do this. I thought it was ridiculous. But now that I'm older and I've studied more and I have a different understanding of how the brain works and how that stuff truly affects you. Absolutely. I don't think anybody under 18 should be playing any type of violent video games. You should not be able to go on a video game and mass murder people at 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like that, there is something not right about that.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you on that. But even at the same time, it's not just the video games. It needs to be monitoring. You need to be monitoring what they're watching, because there's a lot of stuff that they sneak in, not just sneak in, but there's movies out there that, it's making it seem like those things are okay.
That's the only one that I knew of.
Yeah.
Was the Grand
Theft Auto.
But now I know
there's
it's
tons.
huge.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
And that's
tons.
why these kids is resorting to violence.
Yeah.
Because that's all they doing in these spare
the
time.
brain doesn't not to separate
Yeah.
reality from we do it with movies all the time.
Yeah.
This is not who I am. This is just a character that I play. But the
Yeah.
mind doesn't know you evil. You
Yeah.
good for nothing.
Yeah.
No good. When I see you, I still want to hurt you. Wait a minute. But that's just because the mind doesn't. So I
Yeah.
think this is the time to be cautious of what you see, what you watch
Right.
in your development, in your growth. As a person, period. Believer, non-believer, this as a person, period. Because now, child,
It really affects you. My brother, he was like studying music because we do our own little conspiracies and different things like that. But he's more into the music side of things. But he was listening to it. I'm like, you can't be studying it and listening to it. And it really was affecting him, and he didn't see it that way. But then when I really pointed out to him, like, yo, like take a break on listening to this stuff because it's making you act a certain kind of way. So.
They don't believe it, but yeah, it's truly happening. So, guys, please download the app Fire 716 Radio. It's a community station, and we need to get it out here. It's a lot of resources that can help you guys. You know, just come stop in and visit and see if it's something that Mr. Frank can have you to do to help out, just little small things, so yeah, download the app Fire 716 Radio, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. Have a good day. God bless.
Yes.
Messed up here.
we don't know. I put it, but I didn't have the audio in the room.
What was the comment? Somebody said something.
Oh, that was because Cassandra Porter said, "I wrote awesomeness."